As spicy as it can get. I like spice, obviously. How many countries have I travelled to? Quite a lot, actually. Luckily enough, I played at many different teams in many different countries, and we always travelled. I travelled to Singapore at a very young age with Manchester United on tour, and it was incredible, and I fell in love with Singapore. Oh my goodness, there's so many different dishes that I love to eat when I'm in Singapore. There's a new Indian restaurant that's opened that I'm going to try to get to while I'm here. There's a place, a local hawker place that I went to a couple of years ago, and I had the chili crab, and I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Spicy or less spicy?
As spicy as it can get. I like spice, obviously. I love to unpack. I actually love to pack and I love to unpack. My wife doesn't. I always unpack for my wife. I don't pack for her because I don't want to forget anything, but I always unpack. So we flew on Tuesday and I was already packed by the Friday before. Firstly, hydrate. Secondly, kind of relax. My go-to show is always Friends. It's one of those shows that you put on and it just eases everything for me. I like to be comfy, and it's always like a tracksuit and a pair of trainers and maybe either a beanie or a cap. I try to go to the gym. It's one of the things that I think that is important, especially when you've been on a long flight. As long as you're not too tired, because you can injure yourself, no naps. If you want to sleep and get onto the time zone, napping during the day is probably not the best idea. I love every country that I go to. I'm very curious and I love different cultures, and I'm a big foodie. So wherever I go, I jump into the culture and I jump into the food, and that's why I love travel so much.